Hello and good evening again. Welcome to BCL Beyond the Boundary with myself, Simon Booth. I'm very glad to say I'm here with Joe Pryle of Blackrod Cricket Club. Good evening, mate.
Hi Simon, you all right?
Yeah, you doing okay?
Good, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. So obviously, you've been good enough to come on in and give me some of your time. So if it's all right with you, we'll dive straight in. For the benefit of the audience and the people who potentially are listening to us at the moment, basically, who are you? What do you do at your club? A bit about yourself, maybe your playing background. Just a bit of an introduction about yourself.
Okay, I'm the club captain at Blackrod. I've taken that role on for about the last 5 years. I was sort of thrust into it when Chris Sanderson decided to step down, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been quite difficult. Played at Blackrod since about 1993. Made my senior debut in '94. I've played at Blackrod ever since, apart from a period where I was in Australia for a year and I was in America for the best part of a year playing cricket in America. So other than that, I've been at Blackrod. We've been through some highs and lows throughout that period. We're on the like a reconstruction of the club at the moment, which is going really well. This coronavirus issue has hit us a little bit recently because we've got lots of plans in place, which I can elaborate on.
Yeah.
It's all positive, going in the right direction.
Brilliant. I've got a few questions I'm going to ask you later on with regards to a couple of things that you've mentioned. So if you start with that, I'll put a pin in it and we'll move on. So we'll dive straight in. So the first question I want to ask you is obviously, what was your club's plans for 2020 season with regards to players, club improvements and any sort of possible events that you had in your social calendar?
Okay, I'll start with cricket. Cricket, we're very optimistic for this coming season. We were in a division of 8, which we'd recruited and invested in quite strongly, and we felt like we were contenders for promotion this year. We signed a new professional. He's been having a really good season over in Sri Lanka. So, that kind of vibe around him coming is only a good thing. That, it's designed to sort of bring out the best in our younger players.
Yeah.
One of my philosophies has always been to develop younger cricketers and always give them a chance. Maybe that's kind of like linked to my own background, where I didn't feel I was given those kind of chances as a youngster, where I like to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. So I'll always try and develop youngsters, and you've got to be patient with that kind of thing. So it's not a case of like 1 or 2 years it's going to happen. This is like a 10-year plan for us now.
Yeah.
Some of the things that the junior coaches are doing is fantastic. Richard Ashworth, who's led it for the best part of a decade now, he's put some really good work in, and we're going to see some benefits of that in coming years.
Real.
So there's some pros and cons with that. We believe that if we give young cricketers a chance at our club, you reap greater rewards, because each one of those cricketers potentially can bring a friend, can bring siblings, can bring a whole family, and we've seen some of the family get involved through volunteering at the club. So we believe that if that's a way to be a sustainable club. It hasn't always been the case, so that's something that I'm keen to drive. So cricket-wise, we felt like we recruited a couple of other players. Asif Bajani, who'd played for us before, he was like sitting there doing nothing. Just had another conversation with him and said, "Look, mate, you shouldn't be sitting there doing nothing. Let's get you back involved." And he was keen to play. He would have strengthened our batting and bowling. So I was quite optimistic for this season. So I don't know how it's going to work out now, but that's sort of like kiboshed it a bit.
Yeah.
Off the field, things are going really well. I'll be honest with you. I'd say about 5 years ago we were very close to folding.
Okay.
That's how close it was. So that affects you. That affects you, and it changes your mindset. So we've restructured our committee. We've got a really diverse committee now. There's probably about 18 members in there, and they're all from different backgrounds. They've all got different views, but all of them are passionate about Blackrod Cricket Club, which is good. So we've all got the same philosophy about developing junior cricketers. And for that reason, we've seen that we need to develop the club off the field as well. So we've started that with the first phase, which is building our new changing rooms.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be finished in time for the start of the new season, so we've had to stop that just when it's nearly completed. That for us is like a really good facility for young cricketers to have a good environment to grow up with, because we've not had that before. We've not had dedicated facilities for changing. It includes a female changing room, so we want to try and grow that a little bit. We've got a few girls involved.
Yeah.
We did think about like getting a female cricket team together, so that's still in the plans. We've also unbelievable how the volunteers and the members of the club have been in driving the events that we've had in the recent last 2 years. Last year we had, the year before that we had the World Cup with the big screen that we hired. We've got a close connection with one of our sponsors now, a company called Boxer So. They're a Blackrod based company, and they're quite keen to do events. So they lent us, they hired out some big screens for us. And it was amazing how the community responded to that. So we got lots of people to our club to watch the football. So the plans were this year to have it for the Euros as well.
Euros, yeah, of course, yeah.
We'd already got that screen reserved for 4 or 5 football matches to get. We had 500-600 people on for the World Cup, maybe 1,000 people. It's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
We also trialled a music festival last year, which was fantastic. We had over 2,000 people come to that, and we want to grow it this year to more. So it was that was something that raised an awful lot of money for our club. So hopefully that can still go ahead at the end of August. We've still got it planned. Don't know what's going to happen if that doesn't go ahead now. So on and off the field, it's positive. We're moving in that direction.
Looking good, like you say. You look like you've put a lot of effort in. Obviously, you seem to have a big following and a big sort of volunteer base. Your committee seem to be backing your vision, as it were. So it's good to hear, really.
Well, exactly. I mean, the thing about it is that the club was sitting there in the doldrums for many years. We've not had any work done to it for the best part of 20 years. So we needed to revamp it. We've done that now, and the idea is when we finish the first phase, we're going to build a members' lounge so that we have dedicated place for cricketers as well as functions. Right. You'll have that at Farnworth, won't you? So then the idea is once all that's done, we can start to dedicate more stuff towards the cricket side of things, to our facilities, to our pitches and what have you, and hopefully improve it that way.
There's obviously a lot of thought gone into that. I can tell just the way that you're speaking about it. So that's it's just great to hear. And obviously, I think the idea behind these interviews is to tell people about what's happening at clubs, and not necessarily people would get the chance to speak to yourself and other people. So hopefully, this gets out there and tells people about Blackrod Cricket Club.
No, it's a good forum. Thank you. I mean, it ain't going to be done overnight. This is something that's going to be a decade long, maybe.
Yeah.
So. And if we win a trophy along the way, so be it. But that's not at the forefront of our thinking at the moment. It's about building everything around juniors. Okay.
Second question, obviously, given the current situation we're in, so it's a dead simple question, but it requires quite a difficult answer. So I apologise straight away. So how's the current coronavirus situation hit your club on a senior and junior level?
Right, well, it came along. We were finishing our indoor training, so we were all ready to go outside. We've had to sort of put that on the back burner for now. We do still keep in touch. We've got WhatsApp group and what have you, so we're communicating. But it is frustrating, as you know, and we just want to get going. Really, the pitch is sitting there in a good condition. So it's all getting maintained. We've got a little team that's cutting and getting it ready, and if we got the go-ahead with another week, like in a week, we could have pitches ready to play on. Yeah. So still sitting there, it's in immaculate condition. Like usually this time of year, you're rushing around trying to prepare everything, and that's not had to happen now. So that's a positive. The other thing is that we're still trying to get these changing rooms finished, so we're going picking at that as and when we can individually. Mm-hmm. But as far as income goes, it's stopped. We've gone from like having functions every week to basically nothing. So we've had to cancel had a booked up diary till like start of July.
Yeah.
So we've had to cancel everything. What we did do is we had a reserve of stock. We actually did it like a bit of a tuck shop. So people from the community, members and what have you, have come and taken a lot of the stock. So we've managed to raise a little bit of money back that way.
Yeah.
You know, one of our members has his own bar, so he took a few barrels.
So
you know, it's not. We're trying to think of like creative ways to do
ideas,
things.
yeah.
So apart from that, yeah, it's sort of like going from like all these things in place to nothing. It's difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of answer what you're asking.
It does, yeah. It actually answers part of my next question, which was a dead simple. What you're doing about it? Could you elaborate a little bit more in terms of the junior section? You know, what sort of things are you doing to try and keep people engaged? Or obviously it's hit people pretty suddenly. So some clubs are well set for that, some aren't. How's Blackrod when it comes to that?
I couldn't really answer on that much because I'm not that heavily involved anymore with the juniors. But I think what they have been doing is it's allowed like our administrators to catch up with all of our stuff on the play cricket side and get all that stuff up to speed, which we've normally got a lot of that information missing. So that's one thing that we've been trying to do. I don't know what the actual coaches are doing in terms of keeping in touch with all the kids, keeping them active. I couldn't answer that, so I don't know. But
it's like I say, it's a difficult one, and I'm again, I can only talk about my own club, but I mean, I'm head coach at Farmouth, and we've been very lucky that we set up a long time ago like a closed Facebook group for the kids and for the parents. So we've been posting like videos of the rerun of the World Cup and the Joss Butler masterclass and whatever we can lay our hands on, and just trying to keep people engaged, but it's so difficult at distance.
Definitely, and I think they do have a WhatsApp group between them, and I don't know what's in it. I'm not party to that, so I don't know. But I think that's it. You've got to try and keep them involved, because I have heard discussions about like the loss of interest from kids if they're not playing at the moment. Yeah. So it's like it's a difficult one. We've spoken about when do we return to training? Can we go on the field individually and do things? I really don't know. So
it's all up in the air, and until we get the next announcement at the end of the next lockdown, whether we're still locked down or not, or relaxed, time will tell. Next question, we're going to chat about professionals. So, I mean, it's no secret, Blackrod have had some fantastic pros over the years, and obviously professionals that's now turned into, local lads and what have you. So my question to you is, professionals and overseas amateurs, obviously what was your plans this year and possibly next? And then a bit of a slant on it, how do you feel the importance of professionals and overseas are within our level of cricket?
Yeah, I think there's a big contribution from overseas cricketers to our area. We've got one at our own club, Tush Dezoiser. He's club legend now. He's
great player. Great player.
He's been there for 10 years. It's not just about what he does on the field. It's his attitude. It's everything he does off the field. He coaches all year round. He never moans about anything. He just gets stuck in like one of the lads. So. I'm all for that kind of thing, and I've developed a relationship with Amal Delagoda to get our last two pros, and he's been. I can't say anything bad about that with Amal. He's been very helpful. I know he's got his own ulterior motives, but he's been very helpful.
Amal knows his cricket and he knows his players, and obviously in terms of the Sri Lankan lads, he knows his onions, and there's some fantastic Sri Lankan cricketers been to the Bolton League recently, and obviously Dezoiser being one of them. I think I was always glad to see the back of him, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously going back to professionals. What were your plans this year and possibly next?
Like I said earlier on, we had a bit of bad luck last year. Our pro that we signed, Pancha, he'd been at Edgerton the year before. He got called up for Sri Lanka last year, so that was like, you're torn, because on the one hand you want to celebrate that this lad's getting a call up for his country, but on the other hand it affected us really in a difficult way. So we had to rely on a couple of subs who came in and did a really good job. We got Shashrika Pusigala from Enfield in Lancashire League. He was a fantastic pro, another Sri Lankan. But to build on that, Amal and I discussed with this identified this young cricketer who'd been the captain of the college, where the likes of Chandimal and what have you had gone to. So it was quite a esteemed college, and he'd been a real good performer. He's only still young himself, 19, 20 years old, so he's unproven. But this year he kicked on. He moved clubs, and he was playing for the police first class team in Sri Lanka there, and he's been having a fantastic season. So I'm thinking, like, left arm spinner coming into our standard, it's tailor made for him to do really well. So that's frustrating for the both of us, because I'm in contact with the lad, and he just wants to get going, but he's had the blocker put on him by his own country. So that was our plan, to build around him, really, with Tushy as well as our coach.
To give everyone a big boost to have, like I say, a couple of players like that, and then your own lads as well. It's
that's the idea.
It's a Brucey bonus, isn't it? Having a couple of pros on your side.
Well, I've got to make that clear. We don't want to change our model to make sure that it's any more than that. We don't want to have several like semi-pro players coming in that affects what we're doing with our youngsters. Yeah. And I think it's only good and right to have a pro to build around for our young players. So I'm all for that. Yeah. Like you said, the Bolton League has got a proud history of bringing in international stars.
Yeah.
At all different clubs, and that should continue, really.
Good. That's good to hear. Next on the agenda is T20 cricket. So obviously T20 cricket is a huge thing around the world, never mind in Bolton. What I want to ask you is, what's Blackrod's, how do they perceive T20 cricket? And secondly, what do you want from T20 cricket in the future?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like a few years ago, we identified that all of our juniors were being brought up playing 2020 cricket, essentially. So when they're coming into senior cricket, they weren't prepared. They're playing all these random shots and not prepared for the longer format. So we developed a third team to put them into longer format of cricket. However, T20 has now emerged and taken on. It's been brilliant for our local area, hasn't it? I mean, for us, it's primarily a fundraiser. We're not the greatest side at it, but we're learning it. We're coming up against the teams like Horwich who've got a great squad together at the moment, and it's difficult for me to motivate my young players against that kind of calibre of team.
It's interesting. However, you mentioned Horwich, because every person I've spoke to so far has mentioned Horwich about T20. They've sort of set the benchmark for everyone in terms of organising the cricket and also playing it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault what Brett Pulse has done there. He's a good professional, and he's brought in some good players and assembled a good team.
Yeah.
But it's demoralising sometimes for my players to go up against that. But I also look at it as a learning opportunity. So I'll say, look, what can we learn from this, and how can we improve? So I do think when we first started playing it, we were out of our depth, but we are improving. And the other thing that is a stumbling block with 2020 is playing it in the evenings and during the week. For me, I don't know what team I'm going to end up with. At the last minute, I'm juggling around sometimes for players. Yeah. However, I don't think it would be wise for us to move it to a weekend. You might get bigger crowds, but I think the Friday night is ideal for us.
Yeah.
And it's good for clubs like Horwich as well. We've got a local rivalry with that now. We get some really good crowds in, and it's great for both clubs to raise funding that way. We've done well this year because we've got a new set of sponsors together that have paid for our kit for that. So we're going to unleash our new kit as well. So that's a good thing.
Right.
That's something that is different, isn't it? It's the coloured clothing is another aspect that they like.
Spot on, yeah. Good stuff.
So
obviously, so it's obviously important to Blackrod. It seems it's important to everyone at the moment. So I think that's something that the league need to look at. That if we do get a short season this year, then we get a T20 programme in there, whether it be a Friday night or even at weekend or a bit of both. Depending on what clubs want.
Yeah, it's essential. If we could get a couple of those in, we can recoup a bit of our fundraising, can't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I understand your point. Yeah.
Last question for you, Joe, is obviously about the current situation with coronavirus. And again, it's a tough question to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. What do you think coronavirus has done to cricket at our level, and do you think it will be affected in the future?
It's it's a twofold answer, isn't it? It's on the one hand, I've spoken to some of my senior cricketers who say we need to be playing, otherwise people are going to fall away and lose interest.
Yeah.
But on the other flip side, it could make people more hungry to play and appreciate it when they actually get back on the field.
We don't realise what we've got until it gets taken away from us.
Yeah, if you're passionate about cricket and you love playing and the week in, week out actual being with your teammates, that's missing. I think that for me, I'm cricket's been my life, so I'm missing it. So I couldn't answer that for the rest of my cricketers, but I think I'd like to think it brings a bit more unity in future. It will definitely strengthen our committee and our the way that we're doing things at the club. We will want to make things work even more now. Definitely, we're quite a determined, stubborn bunch, and we're going to see our project through. Yeah, so that's not going to change. We're still going to finish our changing facility, move on to our next project, and everybody's up for that.
Superb, so, brilliant.
I'd like to, it's just we feel like perhaps you're in the same boat. All clubs need a bit of support externally here.
Yeah.
To just keep them going through this period.
It's the unknown of when we're going to get the green light. That's the issue, that we don't actually know when we can start. And when I spoke to Chairman John Hutchinson about what the league doing about it, what support can they give, and John basically turned around and said it doesn't matter when we start. There's a plan. So it's good to hear that there is a plan, and obviously I sit on the same committee, so I've heard the plan. I know what we can literally start any week from June through to August, and there's a plan involved.
Yeah, I get that, and so I think like one of the questions I've had from the committee is it fair for us to start cricket without our club being open, because the government has said like pubs and clubs and restaurants are not allowed to open, but sport can go ahead. What's the point if you can't raise funding?
Yeah, if you can't generate revenue, then it's a pointless entity, isn't it, really? And that's what every amateur sports club is in the city. And I mentioned it, I spoke to Steve Pellow and Grant from Kersley, and the functions and the money that they raise is the heartbeat of that club. So if you turn one off, yeah, absolutely. If you turn one off, you can't turn the other one on. So it's a frustrating one, but one we're just going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, because I read this week one government minister was saying professional sport can start, but grassroots will have to wait because of the mass gatherings. Where on the other hand, there's another report that's saying that actually you need to start from the bottom. So it's all up in the air, isn't it? We don't know.
Well, fingers crossed. Obviously, Boris having his baby boy today puts him in a good mood, and we can all get back to a bit of cricket.
Yeah, so we're ready to go anyway. We're ready to go whenever, yeah. So it's
superb. Joe, thank you very much for your time. Obviously, thanks for everyone for watching. That's been Joe Pryle from Blackrod Cricket Club. Thanks very much, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.